My name is Javier. I live in the Yerba Buena Tucumán area. A few years ago I worked for a tourism company, managing the local micros on the tourist circuits. I did this in several companies. It was something I really liked to do. I tried to learn the dates, the names of the places, the historical references. I had to travel a lot on the road, and I heard many stories of paranormal situations. I was always very curious and listened carefully to all those stories people told. In 1996, if I remember correctly, there was a party for people of the third age in San Javier, so I had to take a group of retirees on the bus. The party was at night, at 9:30. I had to leave them at the hostel and pick them up the next day. I left my house at around 8. I went to pick them up at the hotel and we went up to the hillside area. Some were asking me on the way about San Javier, how high it was and that kind of stuff. I got there around 9:15 and accompanied them all inside. They invited me to stay, but I wanted to go home because the next morning I had to come back to look for them, so I stayed just a little while. The night was very calm. It was around 10 when I was heading down the hill toward the road. After a few minutes, already on the way, I began to hear a noise. It was something strange, like something suddenly hitting the floor of the bus. I thought for a moment that something had caught on the wheels. After a curve I stopped on the side, got off with the flashlight and checked, but everything was fine. I did not see anything strange, so I got back in and continued. A few minutes later, after going through another curve, I felt a very loud noise. It sounded like someone had thrown a stone at the side. I thought someone had done it, but in that section there was no one. As I drove I kept looking through the rearview mirrors, and at one point I thought I saw something, then looked again and there was nothing. I was very focused, since that part is a very tight curve. As I was turning, I felt someone put a hand on my shoulder. Immediately I felt I was going to faint. Imagine the feeling. Going alone on the bus in the dark and suddenly feeling someone touch your shoulder. A cold ran through my whole body. In a moment of fear I almost spun the wheel to look back, because I kept feeling that hand on me. When I looked in the mirror I saw a pale hand. For me it was the hand of a woman. I could feel the cold through her touch on my clothes. I think it was only a few seconds, then she let me go and moved back. She stood almost in the middle of the bus. I saw her in the rearview mirror from inside. I don't remember her face because it was very dark, but I do remember her long, stringy hair. At one point I thought about slamming on the brakes and getting off, but it was worse, because I was alone in the middle of the hill. I didn't know what to do. I was scared. Then I tried to turn on the interior lights, which until that moment had worked fine, but they wouldn't light. She didn't physically hurt me, but my skin crawled. I looked through the rearview mirror again and she was still standing there, in the middle of the bus. No matter how I turned or moved, she didn't move. She accompanied me for a while. During that time I heard a buzzing in my ears and felt an intense cold that threatened to paralyze me. I felt like I couldn't keep driving. Then, suddenly, when I looked back she wasn't there anymore. I kept going a little further and looked back again and she wasn't there. It was a total relief. I accelerated a little and thought everything had happened, but then I felt a blow again on the side of the bus. I didn't see anyone at that moment, I only knew she had been there. When I passed a police station I took the road down to Yerba Buena, accelerated, and managed to get to the roundabout without incident. The next day I returned and picked up all the old people without any problem, of course, because it was daytime. But I remember that for many years I did not go up or down the San Javier Hill at night. After that I heard the stories of several drivers of Line 118 and others who had to go up to San Javier at night. They assured me that a woman would get on the bus and sit with them until she disappeared. I'm grateful I only experienced that one paranormal incident.